Okay, you're welcome back to the show. Apologies for that brief silence on my part. Let's talk about Get Fund, shall we? We know that many Ghanaian students are on scholarship outside the country, some in Russia, China, all over the country, all over the world, UK, etc. And they're usually on Get Fund scholarship. And Get Fund scholarship takes a while. If you are on Get Fund scholarship, it takes a while to get your stipend. And so the Ghanaians have been complaining. It's not new. It's something that we've heard over and over again. But the Get Fund, of course, has issued a press statement following the complaints of some Ghanaians, Ghanaian students learning outside the country and on Get Fund scholarship. And I'm going to read briefly for you what the press release says. It says that the management of the Ghana Education Trust Fund is committed to its obligation towards students who are studying abroad under its sponsorship. The management is aware that students whose fees and stipends have not been paid since September 2016 are facing challenges in their various institutions. Now I'm going to fast forward a bit to the next paragraph. It says the Get Fund has been confronted with some transition challenges recently, but these are being resolved. Parents and students are thus assured that their obligations regarding the scholarships will be honored soon. And the last paragraph says that the Get Fund is a public trust fund board established, etc., etc. At the top of its management is a board of trustees appointed by the President of the Republic of Ghana. Perhaps that is where the problem is. In the studio with me to help us understand this better is Stephen Baffo. Stephen Baffo is Deputy Administrator at the Get Fund. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, let's start with your release. You talk about some transition challenges. What really are these transition challenges?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. Gifty, as you've asked, the Get Fund operates under a law, Act 581 of 2000, and the Act specifies the structure of governance. Okay. At the apex of the governance structure is a board of trustees, a 17-member board of trustees. We all know that Ghana has gone through a successful elections and a new president has been elected, sworn in, and has started work. But again, we have a transition bill that makes appointment somehow coterminous with the authority making the appointment. In that respect, the fourth board of the Get Fund finished its work by 6th January 2017. Given this, the president has to appoint a new board, and thankfully, work has begun over the last 3 weeks, making sure that this process comes on stream very quickly.
Okay. Tell us a bit about the work that has begun. Have there been new appointments? I mean, what's happening if you say work has begun? Because people are looking at solution to the problem now.
Yeah. As we speak, there is an acting administrator in place.
Okay. Who is this person?
Besides that, nominations from the various institutions that are represented on the board. And when I say this, I've already said that there are 17 members on our board. These individuals come from different institutions. And so the Ministry of Education has already received nominations from these institutions as to who represent them on the board. They would have to be appointed by the President upon advice from the Council of State. Thankfully, yesterday, the Council of State was sworn in. And so that is why we believe very strongly that not too long from now, the board will be appointed by the President, and so the functions of the Get Fund, as they relate to the roles of the board, will be kicked in very soon.
Okay, acting administrator, you say. Who is this person, please?
The acting administrator, I don't have his permission, but once I'm here, let me say.
I mean, once that the Ghanaians know that there's an acting administrator, we've got to know who it is.
The acting administrator is Mr. Richard Boadu.
Mr. Richard Boadu?
Yeah.
Okay, and who is Mr. Richard Boadu, and I mean,
We'll keep that to a later date when the board has come and done all the things that need to put him in the...
So at this point, he's just acting.
He's
what
acting.
else does he need to make him substantive administrator? The go-ahead from the President?
You need the board.
Council of State, okay.
You need the Council of State. Then goes through the Public Service Commission to the President and back to the seat.
Okay. How long will it take?
That I'm not able to tell because I don't determine the date and
yeah,
time,
because
but certainly
that determines how long we're going to resolve the issues, the outstanding issues of Ghanaians abroad who are stranded, Ghanaian students who are stranded.
Yes, but why we as management are assured that we would get done with this challenge that we have is the fact that the ministry itself, and here I'm referring to the Ministry of Education, attaches urgency to these needs. They have come to meet this situation and are greatly concerned about how to get it resolved. And that is why we believe very strongly that we're going to be one of the institutions under the Ministry of Education whose board will be appointed pretty shortly.
I see. It's there are people who have raised some concerns about politicization of the institution. Is there politicization of the institution, the GET Fund?
No, I wouldn't say there's politicization, as probably you would want to look at some other issues about Ghanaian life generally. But public service runs on processes and procedures. And until these processes and procedures have been fulfilled, you cannot say that this is where we are. I think that is what is the issue.
Because then people will begin to say, well, I mean, people on GET Fund scholarship begin to get certain tax. Then they will say that, well, if you are not some way, somehow aligned to the political party, then you won't be able to benefit. That's so people are beginning to read meanings when these set of students are stranded, that, well, they are stranded because of the politicization.
Not at all. I have said that we have come to this position where we feel challenged.
Okay.
Because if you have a check to pay out, you need a board member to sign the check. Unfortunately, we don't have the board members in place now.
Okay.
And so for those whose checks have not been signed, we need the board members to be in place to sign them.
To sign the check.
It has nothing to do with politics.
Okay.
It has everything to do with time and the exigencies of the times we find ourselves in.
Okay. In the meantime, what are we doing about the students who are stranded? Because, I mean, life out there can be very hard, can be very harsh when you've got no money in your pocket.
Yeah.
So how are they going to keep up? How is the GET Fund helping those who are stranded now to keep up whilst they wait for the board members to sign their checks?
Okay. Thank you very much, Gifty. I agree very much with you that times are hard, it's difficult out there, and the situation they find themselves in now is regrettable. We shouldn't probably have come to this far. But again, we're going through a process, we've gone through a process, events have happened, and so we are where we are. What we have been doing since the beginning of the year is to speak with the schools, write formally to them, to assure them that, one, as a public statutory fund, we are committed to our responsibilities. And so we have sent them there on scholarship, and we are committed to our obligations. And once we get over this transition challenge, and we have the money in the account, we'll transfer the monies to the school.
And do they take
So we have spoken with the schools. We have had some positive feedback from some of the schools.
But not all of them?
Not all of them, because we have not written to every school.
But some are also skeptical because they will say that, well, we know this about the GET Fund. It's something that happens usually.
It doesn't happen too frequently. What we are noticing is that we come to this very challenging situation, especially with years that we have transitions.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're speaking with the school authorities, etc., to allow them to be in school whilst we sort out this. And some of them are giving you
very positive, very
but
positive.
not all of them.
We haven't spoken to everyone.
Okay.
But those that we have spoken with have given us positive
feedback. Okay. And what about their living? How do they live? How are they going to live? Is the mission, are missions abroad giving them any support?
That I do not know. But again, that is why we have come out to say that we need some time to get over this hurdle. And so we believe that for those who had some monies from us before they left, we'll be careful how they spend their monies. Okay. We also know some certainly will be in some difficulty. And again, we are not just assuring the students, we are also assuring parents that we are committed to our obligations. And so any support that goes out there to make them able to live this short period will be welcome. But again, we are talking with the schools. We are also in discussion with the ministry so that as soon as we go over this board issues, we should be able to stretch our hands to our students and get them.
Okay. I hope this will help them, you know, hold on. What you're saying will help them hold on, and that it will be enough assurances for them that their problems will be resolved.
Especially once we have positive response from the schools, so that they can continue with their education without any break.
Okay.
I think it's helpful.
We'll say very big thanks to you, and we hope that this process is actually that the process actually go faster than what people would think they know about the GET Fund. Okay, thank you very much. Stephen Baffour is Deputy Administrator at the GET Fund, and he's saying that they are liaising with the schools in which we've got our students, Ghanaian students living schooling abroad, and that hopefully the board will be put in place now that we've got a Council of State and everything will be faster.